Hello, hello, hello. You're tuned in to Golden Creatives Talk, the podcast where we bring Black, Brown, and Golden creatives together to talk about their creative life. I'm your host, CT Luna, or you can call me Cynthia. And I'm so excited to share about today's powerhouse guest, Melanie Denny, or Melly D. She's a personal branding consultant and creative digital branding strategist. She empowers brilliant women of color who feel unseen and want to leave a legacy in their industry to show up boldly in the full essence of who they are, unapologetically. She shows golden multidimensionals, or Black and Brown women, how to become an industry authority while expanding their reach, reputation, and revenue without sacrificing an ounce of who they are. Hello, Melly. Welcome. Oh, thank you so much, Melly. So tell us about who you are and how you started down this path before we get all geeked out on personal branding. Mhm. Mhm. I love it. Mhm. Mm. Mhm. Mhm. Yeah. Mhm. Mhm. Right. Mm. Right. Mhm. 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 Yeah. Mm. Mhm. Mhm. Show up. Yeah. Yeah. Mm, I love it. I love it. That question is what inspired me to continue with writing and formalizing my writings into a book, which I don't want to talk about today because I want to get every ounce of the Mellynated experience from you today. So, every you said so many things. I started taking notes. So let's talk about you talk about women showing up, or that you're striving to help women show up without sacrificing an ounce of who they are. I think that's the wording you have on your site. My question for you is, what is that specific ounce that you find most women, particularly women of color, who that they struggle to leave at the door when they enter industry experiences? Like, what is that thing about who they are that you can see that they don't want anybody else to see? Mhm, mhm, mhm. Right. Yeah. Yeah. Mhm. Fitting in. Mhm. Yeah. Mhm. 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 Right. Mhm. Mhm. Right. That's the right answer too. No, no, it's not up to me to say what's the right answer, but thank you for bringing up your podcast. Um, so you just started your answer by saying you challenged the concept of professionalism, and the name of your podcast is the perfect name to convey that message. I'm going to let you say it. I discovered it I discovered it in a daily newsletter that I get from Podcasting Awards. It's called One Black Podcast a Day. They're on Substack, so find them, subscribe, get their newsletter. That's how I found out about your podcast. So tell us a little bit more about your podcast, um, and your mission. And I guess it's also maybe a um, you living to your word, right? This is how you're demonstrating the work that you do in personal branding. Ah, I love it. Code Switch Rebellion, y'all. Subscribe. Mhm, mhm. Yeah. Mhm. 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 Yeah. You shrinking yourself. Right. Right. Mhm. Yeah. Mhm. Mhm. Yeah. Mhm. Mhm. Right. 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 Mhm. Mhm. Yeah. So I love how you're, like, answering my next question, because now we can go off script. Let's go to your brand, your brand colors, your brand choices, and the reason why I'm asking this question, so just so that you have a little bit of context, I mean, you're talking about some serious existential soul searching, right? And you're basically asking your clients are probably coming to you at a point where they're like, okay, I have left my job of 15 years and I've decided to go solo, so let's get a brand, let's make it quick because I need to start, bringing it in, right? But that kind of soul searching isn't, an overnight experience. So, and you had kind of alluded to that. So, I guess I want to hear a little bit more about that journey of the soul searching that has now resulted in the website mellynated.com. And why the vibe and how it is that you've really infused that space with you. Because I feel like I've gotten to know you. Mhm. 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 Identity. Mhm. 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 Yeah. Mhm. Right. Mhm. Mhm. Right. Mhm. 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 Uh-huh. This is it. There are so many directions, but I'm gonna kind of go in one direction and then we're gonna head into another direction, but it's all related to you. So a lot of what you're talking about is personal branding, meaning, exploring yourself, understanding who you are so that you can show up authentically. Then there's the other side, which is knowing who it is that you're showing up authentically for. It's clear I have a day job, so it's clear who I'm showing up on a daily basis for. And let's just say that community prefers when I code switch. And I prefer when I code switch so I can keep the job. But now, I guess the question that I'm going to ask you has to do with understanding your audience and understanding your audience down to the detail. Like, in a way, as part of your personal branding journey, you also kind of have to uh, create like a brand identity um, for your perfect client. And so I guess I would like to talk to you a little bit about that, and ask you specifically uh, about your take on niching down, because it's a very hard thing to ask somebody who's, starting up a business to get hyper focused on a very specific persona that they want to present themselves to. Hmm. Hmm. Mm. Hmm. Right. Hmm. Hmm. Mm. Hmm. 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 Right. Hmm. Hmm. Right. Right. Mhm. Mhm. Yeah. I'm so glad that you said that because I've been seeing some people posting on Substack notes things like, everybody's saying I need to niche down, but I'm interested in all these things. And, it's like astrology and, cultivating beer and it's like things from all corners of anybody's interest, which is cool. But unless you can sort of connect that and identify people who are also equally interested in all of these disparate things, you're going to have a hard time connecting with anyone, unless, of course, you just focus on the astrologers in the room or the beer drinking astrologers, right? Like, however, I'm going to kind of segue into another piece of this topic of niching down, understanding persona, and also part of this um, journey of knowing yourself and finding out who I am, because that is at the I would say at the beginning stages of having your own business and being an entrepreneur. That's like half of the work. You're going to be spending a significant amount of time figuring that out for yourself. And I'm just saying this also as a writer. That's like half of the writing is, you know, what am I really trying to say here? Where am I headed with this journey? So getting back to this and considering that the audience that you're reaching out to has been in a position of being labeled for all of their lives, being told who they are and how they should show up, and being praised when they come in with pencil skirts and the grayish attire, and then realizing like, oh, I need to step out and like be who I am. Um, is Do you find that sometimes your clients feel like, well, if I'm going to niche down my client base, um, aren't I also putting them in a box and othering them in the way that I've worked so hard to unother myself? Mhm. Oh. Mhm. 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 Right. Mhm. For you. Right. Right. Mhm. Right. Pretty much. Yep. Yep. Pretty much. I think it's I think it is a hard pill to swallow to think like, yeah, all of these people that I've been performing for, they're actually not my audience. And I had to be very clear about that. Like, I know that nobody that I work with in my organization is interested in my book. Right? There's maybe two people that I'm actually friends with, because we have shared experiences, and they are the ones who are interested in my book. But if I were to try to, tell the rest of the folks at my job, they'd be like, "Oh, great job. Where can I find your book? On Amazon? Okay, I'll go buy it." And they're not going to buy it. Like, and and it's okay. Like, I didn't write this book for you. I actually wrote it first for me and then for my girls, And so they were my target audience, and they continue to be my target audience today when I'm writing newsletters or having these conversations. And they're usually the first people I WhatsApp when I say, "Hey, I got Melly D. Did you know she had this podcast called Code Switch Rebellion? Subscribe to that and then show up for the show." And most of the time they do, or they show up for the recording, right? So, but it is hard to get used to um, the change in your um, expectations when you leave a job and you enter, because like you're saying, you're the boss. Once you're an entrepreneur, it's all you. Like, your performance is for nobody but you. And who are you doing that for, right? Like, if you want to show up barefoot to your job today, like, who's going to tell you no except you? Oh, really? Mhm. Mhm. Uh-huh. Mhm. Right. Mhm. Right. Yeah. Yeah. Right. I love that. Actually, I'm getting some tips too. There was something that you were saying earlier, and now I can't remember exactly what it was. Oh, um, it was to my earlier question about like the ounce of what they're sacrificing, and you were saying that it was the essence of their culture, and I wrote their vibe, and then next to it I wrote Bad Bunny. And the reason why is because of the Bad Bunny halftime show. And I reconnected with a longtime friend that I hadn't been in touch with for a few years. And both of us, we literally went wild over that halftime show because of the way that he showed up for all of us. And when I say all of us, I'm talking about Black and brown men and women, but especially from the Caribbean. And so I guess I just wanted to kind of lean into that just a little bit more because you were talking about making sure that you represent, the Caribbean aspect of how you show up and how that is, and this is part of my question, how that is kind of like, a chiseling out of your persona and your personal branding and how you feel that has served you on this journey. Oh, I didn't either. No hablo español, but I was like, hmm, yeah, hmm, 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 hmm. Right, right. Yeah. You had mentioned earlier about authenticity, and actually, it was also part of your um, sort of your, what did you call it? The challenging of the concept of professionalism, that the challenge is showing up in your complete authenticity, and you use the word integral. And that really resonated with me, and I love the way that you mentioned the nonverbal cues which exist on your website, that they have to be in resonance with the verbal cues, the words that you have on your website, the words that you exchange on your podcast, Code Switch Rebellion, the words that you write, as well as how you show up when you speak those words. And even though, I don't go around telling everybody that I meet, well, I was born in Trinidad, but my mother's Swiss, and there's all of this, world hopping going on. Now, when I think about my audience and the people who resonate with my work, it turns out that they all happen to be, you know, multicultural, some kind of background. Most of them are Caribbean, and right, and they grew up in the US. Right, so it's like there's actually so much more alignment there than I would've believed had I not kind of started to go down a very specific path. Fancy that. Yeah, you're saying that even with, like, sarcasm, like, "Duh, that's what I've been trying to tell you." Yeah, yeah. Mm, mhm. Hello? Oh, you're back. You said your beliefs, your thoughts, your actions. Right. I almost want you to say that again. Mhm. No, actually say it again because I see it happening all the time in the workplace. I see my own authenticity or me challenging my own authenticity in the workplace where I have to make a conscious decision, like, do I know that I have code switched my way out of my authentic beliefs or value systems? Mhm, mhm, mhm. Right. Mhm. Right. Yeah. Thank you. We are approaching the top of the hour, but I would love it if you could share with our listeners how they can get in touch with you, when they should get in touch with you, where they should get in touch with you, especially if they're contemplating the personal brand concept, if they're starting to step out. I think you had mentioned that some of your clients are not quite out of their day jobs, but they are making that move or they're ready to make that transition. Mhm. Right. Mm. Mhm. Okay. Excellent. And just out of curiosity, so the Code Switch Rebellion is your Substack publication, correct? Oh, awesome. I love it. Uh, Melanie, Melly, I'm so glad that you joined the show today. I have learned so much, and you're just a delight to talk to. And it's kind of liberating to think about personal branding. So thank you so much. Yeah, and I can't wait to find out more about this framework that you're working on. So I will be tuning into the Code Switch Rebellion and to find out a little bit more. So thank you so much, Melly, for joining us today. Thank you, listeners, for joining us today. I'll be sharing this recording for a limited time, and then we'll see you next week for our next Golden Creatives Talk. I forgot the name of the show. For our next Golden Creatives Talk, where we're also going to speak to a wonderful Golden Creative who will help us with budgeting. Yeah, me too. All right, folks. Have a great day. Ciao for now.